I do not support corruption.
It's a time-tested relationship, but one that also has a distinct vision of the future. The visit of the Prime Minister of Jamaica to India really reinforces a strong association that's only getting much better. Joining us now, a very special guest, His Excellency, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness. Thank you, Dr. Holness, very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you in India. I believe this is your first official visit.
This is my first visit, but I'm certain it will not be my last.
You know, our Prime Minister said something interesting when he said that our relationship, India and Jamaica, is defined by 4 words. I'm going to go through those words. Culture, cricket, Commonwealth, and the Caribbean. Would you agree?
Of course. But it's also could be described by some others. People.
Yeah.
Global South. Mm-hmm. The aspiration for development. And a common thread of trying to overcome poverty, mm-hmm. climate change, and maintaining a peaceful world.
Prime Minister, let's talk a little bit about that. Climate change is a shared concern. Obviously, in Jamaica, in the West Indies, climate change and a rise in seawater temperatures is a profound concern. How do you believe India and Jamaica can work together towards, for example, climate change technology?
Well, we are working together. India has been leading efforts for global solar technology development and having that technology available to developed countries. And we are part of the International Solar Alliance, which India is leading. And India has also been very active and very supportive for small island developing states. And there is a particular initiative, the CDI initiative, where they are helping small island developing states to build resilience, the ability to recover from shocks, particularly environmental and climate shocks. So in that regard, countries like Jamaica and other small island states are working very closely with India to address these issues of climate change.
Digitalization and India's digital infrastructure is something which it's worked for us. For example, I have various apps on my phone. My driver's license is on my phone. I don't physically carry it. My national identity card is on my phone as well. And it seems to be technology which is working. When I go to the airport, I don't carry a ticket. It's just that one app which gets me in, facial recognition technology. Do you believe the digital economy and the digitalization of your economy is something that India can be a part of?
India has essentially created the roadmap for developing countries, mm-hmm. countries in the global south, mm-hmm. to enter into the world of digitalization, to create digital societies. Now, the perspective of a digital society may seem to be beneficial only to certain elements of the society. It may seem as if it's technology to support the rich or to support the middle class. But if you look at India's use of the technology, as you've mentioned, your national ID in the Aadhaar system, in your universal payment platforms, I think the people who would have benefited the most would be the poorest in the society, because it has facilitated seamless, effective, and efficient cash transfers to equalize the society, to give benefits to those persons who would normally have to travel long distances, for example, or have to stand up in long lines, or would not be able to open a bank account, for example. They would be excluded from the formal financial system. But by virtue of using digital technology, we are now able to effectively target and include the poor elements of society. And therefore, the lesson from India is that technology can be used to lift people out of poverty. And one of the reasons why I'm here is to strike up a strong partnership with India to get access to your digital public infrastructure, in particular your universal payment infrastructure.
Prime Minister, India has believed that there needs to be a profound reform of the United Nations Security Council. It needs to reflect different and changed realities. How has Jamaica been a consistent and constant partner of India?
Jamaica has declared its support for India's candidate in the Security Council. in the next go-around. And we support the position that there needs to be reform that takes into account the new realities of global politics.
Prime Minister, I must ask you, since we are in a very difficult, challenging sort of situation around the world, you've seen what the situation in West Asia is. There appear to be so many differences right now, and a real worry that that entire war can sort of spiral out of control. Could you share your concerns on this situation?
Jamaica is a strong believer in multilateralism, particularly as a small island state. We wouldn't be able to survive without a multilateral system that is built upon the pursuit of peace and respecting the sovereign borders of nations, and indeed the fraternity and humanity of living in a world where everyone can be respected.
Prime Minister, India seems to have taken a fairly major role with regard to the other war, which is Russia and Ukraine. Prime Minister Modi has reached out to Moscow, has reached out to Kiev. And, we are at this stage friends of Tehran, we are friends of Tel Aviv as well. And of course, a voice of the global south. Do you believe a country like India can have a potential role in being perhaps a communicator to bring together divergent views?
You've said it. India has taken on, in a very strategic way, but in a very robust way, the voice of the global south. And we saw that in the G20, which India hosted recently, and in its theme, One Earth, One People. I think India, Prime Minister Modi in particular, has played that role, and it is very important that there is a large country with significant resources that can stand in the halls of power and represent the global south. And I think India is well placed to do that and has been doing that.
You spoke about Prime Minister Modi. You've engaged with him a couple of times in the past as well, quite a few times, and of course you're now in India. What's that experience been like?
Prime Minister Modi and myself, we get along very well.
Right.
I believe we may have similar personalities, and I do admire Prime Minister Modi. And indeed, we recall that during the pandemic, Prime Minister Modi was one of the first world leaders to reach out to us in Jamaica to assist with vaccines. So, based upon our relationship and our shared perspectives on many issues, I think we have a very good foundation for a strong bilateral relation between our two countries.
The defense equation is something, or the strategic relationship, I believe, is something that both sides have engaged on in conversation. What are the broad parameters of that?
Well, we have engaged with India on support in security and defense, particularly in training of our defense force and our officers. So we already have a few officers here training, but more so in technology. For small island developing states, developing countries in general, we have to get ahead of the curve with technology. The cyber world, organized crime, particularly organized gangs, to create a serious, if not existential threat to states like Jamaica. And the use of technology is absolutely important in ensuring that the state can protect its citizen and offer security for its economy and the society.
The Indian diaspora, of course, is fully integrated with Jamaica. They're very much a part of the Jamaican society, of culture, of your people. Could you tell us about the role of that diaspora going forward, including in business?
Jamaica's Indian diaspora started in 1845 when the first Indians arrived in Jamaica. I believe that may be one of the earliest arrivals of Indians in the West Indies. And that diaspora has integrated into Jamaican society. So Indians are in almost all spheres of Jamaica. Critically, they're in business, in commerce, in healthcare, in education, in every aspect of the society. and they have contributed significantly to the development of Jamaica.
Prime Minister, as we wrap up this interview, I must ask you, are you a cricket fan, or is that even a question?
Well, all West Indians are cricket fans. We do lament that cricket is not doing as well as it did in the past, and we all look on with great admiration of our legendary players. We do have some legendary players now. One comes to mind very easily.
I can think
Chris
of three
Gayle
right now. Chris Gayle, Michael Holding, and Courtney Walsh.
Well,
If I was to put you on the spot, Prime
Michael
Minister,
Holding and Courtney Walsh, we look upon them as legends, icons. But clearly, Chris Gayle is today, and he's a masterful sportsman. And in fact, he was with us on the delegation. He had an opportunity to meet Prime Minister Modi, and he gave us the bat, which we exchanged with Prime Minister Modi, which he signed. So it was, cricket diplomacy at its best.
Isn't it a wonderful connection that, we live so far apart, different parts of the world, and people like Chris Gayle are absolutely household names over here. People love him and the West Indies team. What a wonderful bond that is sport.
It is.
It's a peaceful bond.
So our relationship, clearly, we have history, we have the Commonwealth, we have the diaspora connection, we have sport, we have a common legislative system, we are strong democracies, but India has significantly created a pathway for development in technology, in pharmaceuticals, in agriculture. All of these can be beneficial. The truth is, you have gone ahead, you have made mistakes, but you have corrected them. So the roadmap is there for countries like Jamaica to benefit from, to learn from. And the beauty of the relationship is that India is willing to share.
Right.
And that is the essence of the global fraternity.
Yeah.
That large countries will ensure that there is global equity, and that developing countries can have access to technology, so that we can all live in a world where we can all aspire to fulfill our dreams.
Prime Minister, I just want to draw you back on one of the comments you made on cricket, because there is such resonance of that over here in India. Are you disappointed personally at where West Indies cricket is? I mean, I grew up in the 70s, 80s and 90s.
Well, we grew up at the same time.
And Prime Minister, what a team you had. I mean...
Yeah. So, yes, there is great disappointment. But from time to time, we do see bright shining lights, not glimmers, but bright shining lights. Yes. So the potential is still there, no question about it. And we continue to support the West Indies team. It's a different game now. It's a different sport. And so the advantages that may have existed then would probably not exist now. But everything goes through a cycle, and I'm firmly of the view that the best days for West Indies cricket are ahead of it.
A final question. You were in Banaras in Varanasi. You had a chance of being on a boat, on sort of seeing the ghats. What was that experience for you?
This would be my first time with any sort of real and deep interaction with the Buddhist religion and the other religions that are formed from that. I had a wonderful experience touring some of the sacred sites and going on the river Ganges and seeing the spiritual ceremonies and actually witnessing a funeral pyre taking place. It's quite moving, and I have developed a deeper respect and understanding of the culture and the religion.
Prime Minister Holness, wonderful speaking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Loyal viewers and subscribers, honorable people, give thanks for your support to the AVI-NUE. Know that I appreciate you sincerely. New viewers, welcome on board. Know that your presence is appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. United we win.